guys, and welcome to another special episode of Ranger Review. Of course, everyone knows I'm marching on U234.
Dekablue coming at you.
Today we'll be doing a second part to our Q&A.
In which this time you guys will see me answer my questions too. Now, if you guys know, it was a delay because I still have an injury still, but I have luck. I have people that can, help me with this. So I'm here just for you guys, and I know you guys missed me from being on.
All right, so question number 1 comes from Cash:10. What is the one thing you do not like about PR villains?
One thing I don't like about PR villains is if they're made up, they should have at least a backstory of how they were created, instead of just introducing us to them. Hey, we have a new villain. It's not in the Sentai, but we just made one for you guys. Like Grum.
Yeah, he had no backstory, Grum.
Grum.
We didn't know.
Grum.
We got a basic idea because he basically, attacked Kruger, and that's where he killed his family and planet.
So
that's all we got. We didn't know who he was.
Like Grum is one example of why I don't like PR villains, because if it's not the Sentai version and we just have a random made up one
without any backstory, like the perfect example of a good villain is Mesogog or
Rita.
Well, no, Rita, yeah, because we had 3 years with her, so we got better backs. And Lord Zad. Now, another worse villain would be Divatox. We didn't know anything about her. Question number 2 comes from Amazed Satsuma. What do you think was the worst mentor from PR?
Worst mentor?
I have to say basically now, G. G is currently the worst one.
Out of mentors I can think of, G
is the top one, but I also have to say Demetria.
I mean, for me, Demetria was...
Remember in the beginning, she spoke with riddles?
Yeah, mentor G is kind of useless compared to everyone
because
else.
It's like, why do you have G and then Jaden automatically overrides him?
And he doesn't appear in every episode. He appears in like those random moments for like a minute, and then it's like,
he's not a mentor. Question number 3 comes from Mildly4134. What is your worst rant episode you did so far? That's for me,
that's
mainly.
For you.
The first one. The very first rant I did was with a crappy green screen, and it was everyone always said it was very distracting, and at that time, I would never look at the lens correctly. I would always be looking at the screen on the right side of the camera, so my eye line was never right. I was kind of rushing through it, and I didn't give a better explanation to the Samurai episode.
Yeah.
Next question. Draken, Lord of War. Which season of Power Rangers is your favorite?
That should be easy for you guys, but no, I'm just joking. My favorite episode of PR, it's kind of hard to say because as a kid, when you grow up watching Mighty Morphin, you would think that was actually one of the best. But when you watch it now and you're older, you understand it more. It's kind of hard to say. Like for me, it's really much anything from MMPR that was good. Like mostly anything focused on Billy. I think the most interesting episode I would say is the Madame Wool episode for Billy, because we finally see Billy's character develop and see like he can do other things besides being a geek. That was actually the thing I actually found interesting even today, because it's like you take the stereotypical geek and actually you transformed it. So that's actually something I actually admire. So that's more actually what would have been my favorite episode of PR.
My favorite episode is, of course, the original way it would have ended MMPR Season 1, Doomsday.
Doomsday is actually one of the most interesting.
Because originally that was supposed to be the end of PR. If it had not taken off, that would have been where it originally would have ended, because that was the actual episode footage from Jew Ranger's final episode.
Jew Ranger's.
To me, I thought that was the best moment for the original cast. The only thing that sucked is that there was no Tommy in it.
But then again, no.
But at that, yes, I know you don't like Tommy because he was overused. But at that point, he wasn't overused, so that's the reason why I would have liked him in there. Which Power Ranger from any season is your favorite?
Billy. Not the fact that he's a Blue Ranger, but the fact that he actually had the most character development of all 3 seasons of PR. He
stayed on there the longest.
Season 1, we see him as a geek, but then we kind of saw him in second season. He drifted away a little bit more. He actually fought without being unmorphed, unlike the original first episode.
Yeah, and plus he finally got rid of his glasses.
And then in the third season, we finally see him do more than just talk the talk. He actually did more stuff. He invents stuff. He helped stuff.
He went out with girls.
He actually went out with girls. He actually went out with more. He actually had a dance with Aisha. That's something that I actually never thought they would do.
Yeah, it's not done anymore. The closest we ever got to a romance was with Tori and Blink.
Billy's still my favorite Ranger because of his character development and what he did for the whole season.
My favorite Power Ranger currently is Cam from Ninja Storm. To me, he's sort of like Billy, but he's not the geek at all, but he knows what he has to do. He can fight, he can do pretty much anything. He designs everything. And I particularly wish he was the actual Red Ranger for Ninja Storm. Or if Saban actually used his head, made him the Red Ranger for Samurai, because it would have made perfect sense because he's the Samurai Ranger before them. All right, next question comes from 2009 DCD. Which is the best toy you've ever reviewed in your opinion?
Best toy? The Battleborgs. Because one, in our original channel, we were actually the first ones to review the battle boards, which is really weird because you would think with all the MMPR stuff that's being taken away, the battle boards is something that really made me kind of different from everyone because one, I did the first review, and if you guys remember the channel from our original one, even though the video was taken down, I had more than 70,000 views on just that one video, and people were asking me the same question: how'd I get all this? Like I said, it's just random things to just come by, and the battle books to me is actually one of the favorite ones because it's so rare and people don't do as much because of how rare they are, and finding a complete one is actually pretty hard.
My favorite episode would have to be the Megazord review because that was the most hardest one we did.
And that was actually the longest too.
Yeah, it's currently, and it's raw uncut footage, which you can see on YouTube. I did upload all the footage from it, so you can see it if you want to. It was 38 minutes long. It was very difficult because it has to specifically put more detail into it because everyone has to know exactly what it is. We had everything with us that time.
Yeah, the Dragons of
We had all three, so we were able to form everything. We had to do all those complicated modes. I think that was the best one. Yeah. Next question comes from, this is obviously, what's your favorite PR season?
Well, Mighty Morphin without a doubt, because it's my favorite one and I grew up with watching it.
My favorite season has to be Ninja Storm. I really can't complain about Ninja Storm. Yes, it was with Disney, but this season was pretty good. I mean, it did have that weirdness in the beginning where they tried to deny PR was in existence at the beginning with that stupid joke. But all the characters, excluding Hunter, unfortunately, all of them are really good. I really can't complain about any of the 6 stuff except for Hunter because he was underused. Next question from Ninetales1231.
Ninetales, Pokemon.
What is your favorite Morpher Henshin device?
For me, the top 3 for me would be Mobirex, SP license, and finally the Power Morpher. Because the Power Morpher, it is nice and it's the first PR toy we got. Other than that, the Mobirex, just because it has so much sounds and the keys do so much. So those are my top 3.
Mine has to be the K-Tizer or the Digimorpher because it's the most practical one you could do with. Mainly because it's a cell phone, so you can actually use it in public. You won't be screwed around with like, what the hell's that? And it had the best function. You can call everything from right there. You can call
the only good part about it is that we actually kept the song, the original making of the song. That's actually something that.
Next question comes from Soul Dark Blade. Where do you get your Power Ranger toys?
We use a lot of areas to do it. Mainly much Ranger board. If you guys check us out on Ranger board, Ultra 9234 and Puchama and my name because
someone took Dekablue.
Yeah, but those are mostly where you would find me and Archer just looking at the stuff that's on sale. If anything's
anyone
reasonable.
who's selling something that's what we would like or want or need for the show, we usually get it from someone at the best price we can.
I have an eBay account, so I go there and just look for something that's something worth. Something that we don't review much, or something that's actually cheap for us to review, because like Ranger Board, eBay, Henshin Justice, and sometimes Yahoo Japan.
I use personally big bag toy stores because mainly it stocks Japanese products, but it also ships from here, so I don't have to pay horrible shipping costs.
For me, I also use AmiAmi, which is a really good site for you guys to use if you want to go Kaija stuff right now. Really good price.
Good shipping.
I recommend them so much. AmiAmi. CS Toys is where we got our the K-Tizer. So Mr. S, you guys gotta go to CS Toys to buy everything.
Where do most of your info come from?
Most of our info is from just looking at Yahoo Japan pictures and from looking at other sites that...
Yeah, we do know that other people review the toys, but we usually never look at their reviews. We never look at like what they talk about or anything. We find a photograph of the toy and we pretty much, sit there for an hour and look at what's different.
We compare each and every little detail. Like sometimes Archer will find out that...
Yeah, at the last minute I'll find out there's a detail we missed and I had to catch it at the last minute.
Or I'll find, when he shows me a picture of
You'll catch something that
I'll catch something like, hey, there's something different about this toy.
Or you'll tell me this is the wrong version of the toy.
Because
that's happened before.
It's actually happened before in a few of our reviews that I find things that he doesn't know about. Yeah. And I just be like, yeah.
It'll be a season that I don't particularly like. For example, season 3. You like all the stuff from Kaku Ranger.
I'm a fan of Kaku Ranger for some reason.
So a lot of times I won't know any details from Kaku Ranger at all. Next question from him: do you prefer Sentai or PR?
Half and half. Mainly much
it really depends on how the season's done.
If the season finishes,
Mystic Force, no, I hate Mystic Force.
For me,
Magi Rangers.
For me, it's Overdrive. Regardless of what people say, Overdrive is the worst season. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm just giving an example. If the PR season is extremely bad, I'll go to the Sentai only. But if both versions are good, it really splits it off between the characters.
Like for me, of course, Dekablue Ranger is better than s.p.d for me, but s.p.d does have his moments, Dekablue Ranger has his moments.
All the seasons have their moments. I'm not saying they're not totally bad.
Some
of them are just
like
stupid.
in RPM compared to Goanja was more like, hey, the funny kind of goofy
so you can't really compare RPM.
And RPM was more like the serious.
Yeah, you can't compare the two.
You know,
so you have to like either like that type of style comedy or seriousness.
Like in Sentai, we have comedy, we have seriousness, we have all that. In PR, it's just mostly seriousness, but the comedy gets a little bit goofy at times, but at times it's like, okay.
Turbo is the perfect example where comedy did not work. Is Samurai better than Shinkenger?
No.
No.
Because
Samurai is basically translating the stories, but they're cutting out the stuff that's interesting and wouldn't make any sense.
Think of it like this. You guys watch subs. Think of the subs, just translate it into American actors and American footage. In Samurai, there were actually a few clips, especially
it's sparkly when Antonio said a line that was like, "This is TV Nihon sub translation."
I actually noticed that too because when you watch Shinkenger before, of course you watch Sentai before the American version.
Well, yeah.
So you know, like, if you remember most of the lines or you watch it again, you realize, hey, it's actually kind of like, it's a little translation from the TV Nihon sub. So that's it. Samurai is mostly just the same thing as Shinkenger, but like I said,
it's dumbed down to the point where
Shinkenger is just amazingly good.
Samurai is not. Unfortunately, it's not. Next question comes from Zorak32. Who is your role model? Who inspired you to do Ranger review rants?
For Ranger review, I would say just YouTubers in general because when we first started our channel, our original channel, I actually was the first one to suggest to him that, hey, you know what, we should try doing reviews because
we did it because what it was is that when other people would review the show. Now I'm not criticizing people how they do their stuff. They do it their stuff. That's fine. But there are times where people would talk about the toy, but they would talk too long, or they would never address the American version of the toy.
One example for long reviews is Collection DX, AVA Unit 4. No offense to you, but
your reviews are great.
I really like how detailed you get with the things. But the fact is that
you're on one item for 40 minutes.
Certain items, okay, I can understand.
Certain items do require 40 minutes.
But when stuff like, say, one of your, the Red Battles of like 25-30 minutes. I mean, it's okay, but maybe you should every review is different. That's what makes us different from everyone else.
Yeah, I make sure the review is long enough, but not too long where you get extremely bored of it. Next question comes again from Ninetales1231. Do you plan on selling any of your PR Super Sentai changers?
Yes and no. Personally, like
whenever we sell an item, we don't usually list it on YouTube. There's no reason to do that.
Here's one example.
I may list that we're selling an item on our Twitter account. I will, for recently, I currently want to sell the Magic Mother phone. If you follow us on Twitter, I bought a second one for the box. I have another one that's perfectly in condition that I would like to sell.
For me, I would say yes and no because since I am a fan of PR toys, but like me, it
depends on the item.
I kind of get bored of some of my stuff, so I just sell them. And most of the toys that you guys see us review, I'm not a fan of it. Like Dekablue Ranger, Archer's a fan of it. I'm not.
Yeah. I'll for example, he originally on the old channel, you reviewed the Jungle Master
and also the Gekitoy.
But then you sold it, and I was like, I wanted that.
Yeah.
So I had to rebuy it for myself, and then we did it anyway for this channel.
But this time, he got it cheaper with the box, because originally I just wanted it for the review. If you guys remember, we didn't update as much as we did with this channel. So for me, selling stuff, I will sell stuff on Ranger Board, but if you guys just message me or PM me on my account, you can ask me in person instead of asking Archer, because I'll tell you guys what I sell, and I'll update on what I sell, but I'm not on Twitter that much. So
basically, put it this way: if we have a Japanese product and you see it in the review, don't expect us to sell that because that's the one we usually keep. Now, if it's the American product and it's really either altered so badly or it's just particularly we don't want, that'll usually will sell.
So, for example, the
Samurai Megazord. When the series is done, we'll sell that. All the Samurai stuff we have, we will eventually sell it all. Next question comes from Miley4134. What PR Super Sentai toy do you really want?
The limited edition Dekablue Ranger Robo, the black and purple version. That's
really hard to find.
That's one of my
That's extremely hard. It's one of those limited editions that are only given out.
It
was a raffle?
Yeah, it was a raffle from Magazine Time doing the Dekablue Ranger line. That's actually one of my favorite. That's actually one toy that I will want regardless what happens.
I particularly want to get, as much as possible, all the toys that were in the black version line. the special edition versions of the Megazords.
The black and gold Megazord, the repainted Astro Galactic Megazord, the Go Ice and Fusion, the black version, the black Gunballo, the
Black Ginga-O.
The Black Gao King, the
Max Victory Robo,
and
the Time Shadow,
and also the Black and Gold Ultimate Daigo King. That's also
yes. Next question comes from Power Sentai 101. What are your feelings on the Titanium Ranger in terms of his look? Do you think he looks like one of the Go 5?
No, he just has a V for the Go 5 symbol, but he does not count as a.
True, he'll look like he fits into the Go 5 suits if you don't know the past history of Super Sentai.
If you
do know it, you'll know his body suit is made from the Turbo Ranger suits. Yeah. So with that knowledge, you'll notice it doesn't fit with them. Although you could say that some of the other Rangers don't look like them at all. For example, the Magna Defender doesn't look like the Ginga Man Rangers at all. So but really overall he does fit, but then he doesn't fit at the same time. Next question comes from Mexico2335. What do you think is the worst Power Ranger season ever made?
Worst?
Currently. At this recording time, we're currently watching Samurai.
Oh, I think Overdrive is the worst right now.
I have to agree. Overdrive was the worst one. I also noticed that the seasons that have the anniversaries are always the ones that are bad.
I have a feeling that when we get GoKozue adaptation, it's going to be the same thing.
I have an unfortunate feeling that's probably what's going to happen. Something's going to go wrong in that season and it's going to suck.
So, Overdrive. Sorry.
Next question comes from 69 Big Sexy. What Power Ranger season do you think is better or as good as its Super Sentai counterpart? I gotta say Ninja Storm. It's as good as Hurricaneer.
For me, I can't really say because
RPM. I would say RPM would beat Super Sentai for Go.
Just because it was serious, but for me, I would not really have a clue on that because I haven't watched all of Zoo Rangers, and to compare it to MMPR, it's
I would officially say for me, I would say MMPR is better than Zoo Rangers. Not because it's the original, but because of the stories they did. What it is in Jew Rangers, they were focusing on kid stories and fantasy stuff, while in MMPR they focused on more normal contemporary stuff.
Yeah, like more like the teenage life in high school.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I say. But other than that, Jew Ranger would beat him. Next question comes from Dual Police. Who is your favorite Ranger?
Johnny Yan Bosch actually kind of grew on me after with him coming in MMPR season 2 and how he developed doing Zero and Turbo. It kind of made me like him a bit more as a character more than a Ranger because he had the serious moments, but then he has his goofy moments. So I think Johnny Yan Bosch, aka Adam,
I particularly like as a character. I would like Kai the most.
Kai was actually.
He was. I don't know because he always felt more as the leader rather than Leo.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, because he was more calm and he worked for the GSA, so why not be the leader? Okay. Next question comes from Zordon856. What's the best moment you had on your review?
Best moments when I f***ed up.
You mean when you screw up?
When I screw up with either the name or the episode we were reviewing. That's I think is the most funniest moment for me because especially the Samurai when we had the brain fart of what was Samurai in Japanese. Hey guys, Dekablue25.
1934.
Episode 44 Ranger review. Today we have the new Power Ranger Samurai Megazord, aka the Shinkenger from.
I forgot the name of the damn show.
I think my most funniest moment for Ranger review.
My best moment would be whenever we would get to an episode without screwing up and it was perfect. That doesn't happen that often. It's very difficult to do these shows.
Because you gotta remember, because we don't have paper, we just...
Again, people think we're writing scripts and we're sticking it together. No, everything is just winged. We wing it. Next question comes from Mexico2335. Do you consider the Magna Defender a Power Ranger, yes or no?
Yes, I guess.
Yes.
But
I always considered him a Power Ranger and I always consider him part of the Ginga Man team. I don't like it that they excluded him and put him as an extra character in GoKozue. He was always part of the 6. That same goes for Signal Man and Ninja Man. They are 6. Next question comes from Fanboy D2. If you had a chance, would you work with another YouTuber on reviews?
The only YouTuber I would say we would do is Sentai 2020 because he lives in the New York City area.
Yeah, that's really the main problem. Is we physically wouldn't be able to get any.
It would be nice to do other YouTuber reviews too, but the thing is that
it would be really complicated.
I would actually like to be someone next, if you're in the New York City area and you're a YouTuber, then by far we would love to do a review with you on one little specific item that you guys can choose. But other than that, anyone else from California, Indianapolis, anywhere like that.
That would be really hard to do. Next question comes from Coolio Vids 101. What got you into YouTube?
Actually, what got me to YouTube was actually my high school teacher, Mr. Rosenberg. He.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
What happened was that I started Archer bought Hurricaneger on DVD in Chinatown. During that time, I started watching Sentai, and then that's when I found out that our math teacher, he also was.
He was part of the anime club.
He was an anime club. He was a Tosaku fan and an anime fan. So he.
We didn't know that at the time.
I didn't know about it until I was in his class one day. We were talking about. I was talking about PR and Sentai. Oh, he's like, oh, why don't you watch Dekablue Ranger on YouTube? I'm like, YouTube, really? He's like, yeah, they have all the episodes. So that's when I got into YouTube.
Yeah, we didn't know about the fan sub at that point. Well, then I found out they were bootlegging them on DVD, and so we got those, and then we found out TV Nihon was subbing them.
And that's when
way later than when they were doing it. They were subbing it when Dekablue Ranger was airing.
When Dekablue Ranger, that's when I started watching Dekablue Ranger, and that's when I got into YouTube. Then I found out people do reviews on YouTube, but by then there was not much, common ones. Like,
in the early days, it was very hard to get a hold of the toys.
Most YouTubers I remember from the original days before, 2007 were like.
When it was somewhat easier.
Sentai 2020 was one of them. We started our channel. They were actually Collection DX just started reviewing.
Yeah.
Like he just did his first.
They were like really the major ones that were able to get both versions.
Mostly much YouTube reviews weren't back in like 2006. It wasn't really as big as it is now.
Because it was really hard.
But as of right now, I would say like the original ones were like us, Sentai 2020, and a few other ones I can't remember. Oh, so Sonic Adventure DX, he actually was one of them, and a few others. So that's what introduced us to YouTube, and that's why we still do it now.
Next question comes from FlameLord325. What is your favorite series of toys? For example, s.p.d. or Mystic Force.
My favorite would be Mighty Morphin Power Rangers because the first season we released everything.
Except for the weapons were not correct.
Oh, the Thunder Stingler, yeah.
We didn't get that though.
But I would say MMPR would be.
Yes, MMPR is pretty much all the stuff
because we released everything. The Morpher was released. We released all the Zords. We actually got the best figures. The Automorphs. You guys cannot deny.
Japan didn't do that until All Rangers.
But you guys can't deny.
Kaku
Rangers. But you guys can't deny MMPR was actually one of by far the best toy line.
Miley4134 asks, what is your least favorite Megazord toy?
Least favorite?
Yeah.
That's kind of hard for me to say because...
Well, it's easy. No, you're missing one, the one we always hate, the Manticore.
Oh, the Manticore is actually one of the only toys we both...
Yeah, we both considered the Manticore Megazord, either one, American or Japanese.
The worst toy
We particularly hate that one.
Because the fact that the gimmick is just, I roll you and I transform and I spin my thing, that's the only thing I would... I mean, even the Samurai Megazord has better gimmicks than that.
Next question from View96. Do you collect toys from other franchises? If so, would you ever consider reviewing them?
Yes and no. We just did the Kamen Rider reviews, and by looking at the feedback that you guys...
didn't care. It's either you guys don't... I noticed you guys really don't care about watching the specials, even though I wish you would. But you pretty much ignored the specials, and I think that's probably the reason why you skipped the Kamen Rider ones.
Because Kamen Rider, we do watch it, but the thing is that if you guys don't watch the reviews, we don't plan on doing them because.
Mainly we don't have anything except the 2 items, and there's 1 item we can collect to review.
Yeah, but other than that, I really would say
if more people cared about it, we would do it more often.
Like Transformers, we do want to do it, but at the same time we don't because there are a lot of Transformers.
Yeah, between the different version sets of one guy.
Sean X Long, he does. If you guys want everything, Sean X Long does everything. Then we have Bald Matrix, he does stuff too, and Pigo, he does Transformers mostly. So. And
then how many times can we review one specific version? For example, how many versions of one Megatron are there?
Yeah, so it's more.
It would be really hard to do. Why did you guys decide to review Power Rangers Super Sentai toys only?
The fact that we decided that is because our original channel was PR and Super Sentai, and the fact that most people don't, like we said in another question previously, most people do it differently, and that's when Archie he wanted to...
We did mainly PR because it was the stuff that we had mainly.
And
it was the most, we had the most stuff that we had from that, so it was like we could do that one.
And then the fact that we also do it differently compared to everyone else, so that's what makes us do PR most of the time.
Next question comes from the UniqueKozue. What is your favorite Power Rangers or Super Sentai theme song? That's hard. That is hard.
PR, I would say the original first, the first one. Sentai, it would either be Dekablue Ranger or mainly much Dekablue Ranger, Hurricaneger, Gokaiger. Those are the 3 that I would say were like one of my 3 favorites right now.
For PR, I have to say Lost Galaxy, Lightspeed Rescue, and Ninja Storm. Now for Super Sen, that's kind of hard. There's so many damn good ones. Car Ranger was a good one. Mega Ranger was a good one.
Oh, Mega Ranger, definitely.
Hurricanger was excellent. And Gokaiger and I like Geki Ranger. Next question comes from Lou Tonic. Do you prefer Power Rangers to follow exactly what the particular Sentai season did plot-wise, or do you prefer Power Rangers to always have its own plot?
Own plot.
Own plot. Mainly because it would stick to American, American ways, how we do our storytelling. You don't have to deal with, thinking up a random way of how this person did this, and then we have to figure out a way to do it.
Because if you guys remember, like a prime example is the s.p.d. Copied the story, the plot from the first 10 episodes of Dekablue Ranger.
Yeah.
So watching s.p.d. was like just watching Dekablue Ranger again, just with American actors and American stupidness.
And Samurai, a perfect example, you're basically translating it, and it looks like garbage because you're cutting so much stuff out. This is our last question from Senti33. What was your favorite Henshin or morph sequence?
Gokaiger,
surprised you said that.
Gokaiger, Dekablue Ranger, and Major Ranger was actually interesting to see. Yeah, those.
Yeah, Major Ranger. I like Major Ranger.
Those are like the only three for me. For
PR,
I would say Mighty Morphin was good.
Which version?
The
original.
The original.
Season 2 and season 3.
Without Tom. Well, with Tommy, it was actually pretty cool. So Turbo did. Turbo.
Turbo was the first time they used CGI.
Turbo did pretty good.
When they did it in the movie with CGI, so that looked cool.
Turbo was good, and my final one I would say would have to be Lightspeed Rescue, because how they did it in the beginning actually kind of made it cool, because they just throw their hands up and something came up to them.
The symbol popped out. That was cool.
Actually
for Super Sentai, I have to say Mega Ranger. I always like that particular design because I always like voice controlled ones. O-Ranger, I don't know, I like because it was that cool grid feature and it looked more practical because that's how it would form. And my final one would have to be the Hurricaneer one.
That's not
for PR, Turbo, the CGI one, not the one with TJ and everyone, because that one was lame. Then I would have to say Lost Galaxy. I like that one pretty much. RPM was the one that was really interesting because they go around all over the place.
But thanks for all the questions that you guys asked. There were some interesting ones, there's some repeat ones, but
that's all right.
You get the idea of what we feel like, in PR and Sentai. So join us next time for other stuff that we do. So catch you guys later.